Welcome to Blind Spots with Bobby Bronz and Patrick Hughes.
Episode 3, Blind Spots. Bobby Bronz, obviously, that's me. Patrick Hughes.
Hi,
Um,
I'm Patrick.
Funny about my actual.
How's your week been, man? So far.
Someone gave me that name, and I never liked to go by Bob. That's my granddad. So it is funny that it now is it's all of my even stupid Cash App card. That was only to buy Drake.
Yes.
But the week is going well.
You guys,
What's that?
we gotta get a segment. We gotta get a segment of Bron's financial tips
Yeah, that
and money hacks.
the hacks is that. See, the financial tips is one thing, but the hacks, that's the real one, because there's all kinds of shit out here
Yeah.
that everybody's got this knowledge for, and it's like, man, you could be finessing that shit anyways yourself. But week is fun. Highlighting my week as getting older is going to a chiropractor. That's fun for me. So I've been to.
You got the back fixed.
Yeah, I hurt my back doing some freak shit. So I had a freak accident, picked up something, hurt my back. And really, when you go to a chiropractor, I went there when I was like 24. Now I'm back 29. He said, hey, you should come back for adjustments every so often. Never thought anything of it. And then as soon as I hurt my back, I was like, you know what? 5 years ago, he told me that I would probably need to get an adjustment every so often. So now it's going to be something I throw into my routine, like at least once a month, every other month, something like that. Just stay fine. But
Yeah. Once a month seem kind of often though. You might be a little too loose after that.
yeah, they tell you you could fall in love with the chiropractor really easy, and that's what I found out the first time. Like I wasn't. This is before it was like you seen all the viral the adjustments, so I was actually going through that, and it would stress me out. I'm like, man, I can't believe people do this shit. But then after I stopped feeling shooting pain on my leg and my posture felt better, I was like, oh, I totally get how somebody could fall in love with the chiropractor. And that's probably what kind of kept me away. Like, okay, let me not go here as often. So, but he says his regulars, he sees them every 2 weeks still, every once a month. But they're guys that are a little bit more strenuous with their activity.
That's nice.
Yeah.
Yeah. I guess that makes sense.
Yeah.
Bro, my week was all right. I didn't do too I didn't really do too much. I just, work as usual. So at the school yesterday, 2 days ago there was that unfortunately that school shooting. Rest in peace to the Lowe's and the older people that passed. But yeah, so the kids were talking about like bringing like a gun to school. Like one of the kids was like, "Man, don't bring a pistol to school." And I was like, "Yo, like, can we not talk about that right now?" And then they were fifth graders. So then later on, I kind of just took a mental note of it, because when I told him like, "Hey, that's inappropriate. I mean, you can't talk about that." He kind of brought up the fact that he was like, "Well, I might need one if the school should come." And I was like, "Well, I mean, logically, that kind of checks, I guess, in America.
It sounds very
Sounds gun. You need a gun. I'm mad at the kids' ability to do math on that. Rage thing where you talk about, I'm gonna kill him. I gotta send that nice little email to the administrators, and we already had to call home because you got in a fight. So now we're just gonna add the tidbit about you wanting to bring a pistol to school.
That's right.
And the thing I'm noticing is that kids are smart. So, and I hate that I have to think this way, but I've seen them manipulate, I guess, the moment. So I like even in this few months that I've been teaching, I've seen them be able to know what's going on around them, and then like use that to their advantage so they can get what they want. So
Yeah.
in the worst case scenario, if you're a kid who wants to harm other kids, you see other kids, bringing guns, and basically that whole, you might be able to use the angle of, well, I was just joking about bringing a pistol because, I was just joking. I wanted to protect myself. I wasn't really gonna bring one, but I can definitely see you using that angle to like do it, like to like, you know, throw a little like, I guess breadcrumbs out there, and then try to cover it up with the fact that, oh, it's reasonable for me to say this because, they're fifth graders. So
Plausible deniability.
yeah, and that was the thing. I was into Breakfast Club early this week, and they were talking about, I forgot, it was this guy that was kind of, he's a psychiatrist or something, and he was on there talking about like kids have all the same urges that we have. They just don't have any like wisdom around it, so they don't know what to do with the information. But some of them kind of have an idea of what to do with the information. It's just not what we would want them to do with the information. So yeah, that was just my week of just realizing like, oh, okay, like, yeah, you know what? School shootings do take place in elementary schools, and the elementary school students may also be the ones that bring in the weapons. It might not be a former student. It don't have to be somebody like um, an outside like person. It could just be a kid that came to school with a blick. They really could be.
Yeah,
But
it's pretty wild. You gotta be more like the frontal lobe is not all the way developed on them, and they think
yeah,
that they could just say whatever and be like, yeah, it was a joke. It's like, yeah, it's probably no, we're not taking these as jokes anymore. Especially that's kind of with I used to work at a bank, and I remember they had at one of those banks, they tied some people up. I mean, they wasn't even trying to get no money. And they just killed everybody in the branch. And I was like, oh, this shit can happen for
yeah.
real.
I think that's it. I think that was that was that moment for me where I'm just like, oh, okay. Like, I saw it happen, know it happens, saw it happen, kind of just like had the whole, I guess the response that is that, I don't know, the response that I have now is just be like, oh, well, I mean, what are you gonna do? They're not gonna do nothing about it. So, it's no point in me, feeling all, ways about it. You just got to get up and do what I got to do. But this is the first time I was like, oh, well, no, I work here. Yeah, like,
Yeah.
it's the environment I work in. And this actually affects me. That we're probably gonna have to do something about this if I'm gonna stay in this industry. So,
Yeah, or
but
you're gonna speak to parents that are gonna have questions about it. And you're gonna have a meeting maybe about, hey, this is how we need to address this. If people ask questions,
yeah,
yeah, that
in schools are funny because yeah, you do have this thing of like every time I see the shooters, whether it be school shooter or just any mass shooter, a lot of times everybody says we already knew he was like we knew where it was headed. So I'm seeing it in real time, like, because the kid came back to school today. So it's like,
he didn't have no time offering.
that's an automatic. If I'm running to school, that's an automatic. Okay, well, it's Tuesday. We're gonna go ahead and send you home for the week, and then we're gonna have a long talk to mom and dad, see what we can do. We're gonna run it up in that 3 or 4 days that you're out. We're gonna talk to your mom. We're gonna talk to our superintendents. We're gonna get like the list of protocols of what needs to be done, so we can ensure the safety of our staff and students. But that young man was back in class today. Now I don't think that he's actually a threat, but I don't care. I think if
Yeah,
you say it, we're gonna treat it as a threat. Like like I don't see him and shudder like, oh shit, he got the gun today. But like, now I gotta move. I see this nigga. I do gotta cut the corner a little quick. Like,
yeah, they making them bigger now too.
yeah. So it's just one of the things, man. But outside of that, kind of heavy current events and moment in the week, everything's been cool. It's Wednesday. Um, yeah, everything's cool. We got spring break next week, so I'm not really doing anything except going to the movies and getting caught up on everything. But
Yeah, it's quite a bit. That's out.
yeah, it's a lot. It's a lot, and I'm kind of now missing those. I'm missing the COVID days where it was like everything's coming to HBO Max, and I'm just like, dog, like, why can't Creed 3 just be like, y'all already got Creed 1 and 2 up? Y'all got all the Rockies plus Creed the last two. Just throw Creed 3 on there.
That'd be my first question. I'm like, it's on screaming? I get to this now, or do I gotta go somewhere? Like,
Yeah, like you got the whole thing set up. The John Wick collection. All right, we'll just drop the new. Y'all got your opening weekend money. So go ahead.
Number 4 is on pre-order right now.
They see that don't need to be on pre-order.
You need to not even
out because I'm already spending the dub on the HBO Max, and I'm already up there spending it and pricing anyway. You might as well just go ahead and just let me get that. But I'm gonna spend next week, treating myself by going to the good old Marcus Theaters movie tavern because AMC has priced me out.
Yeah, are you gonna be sitting next to the trash can in the way in the back? There's that. Now, I guess one of the bigger news. We kind of already went. We're super serious. Maybe we'll go serious right now, right next to it. Unless you rather just knock all the serious out and then have fun with it. Doesn't matter to me.
Let's have a little fun and come back to this.
All right, what's fun for me? And I don't know if this is fun. This is gonna sound bad, so don't kill me. The Ravage fans, but there was a split with Beyonce and Adidas. That this is not fun for me necessarily, but this is definitely a little bit lighter, and maybe that's a little bit better. I will tell you what is funny to me when the headlines say mutually part ways. My rule of thumb is there is no mutual part ways. People don't just go into the office and be like, you know what? I don't think I want to work here no more. It's like, man, we was just about to fire you. Like, we might as well just say we was. No, there was some disagreement clearly, and it's like, so we can save face. Let's just say we both had creative differences, and we'll go on our way.
You can't fire me.
No, absolutely not. So mutually part ways, or she fired y'all. Like, we wasn't even really feeling Adidas for real. Like, we finna take this somewhere else and bounce. I don't know. I feel like there's a lot of conversations I've had with you in the past, and I'm pretty sure either I was talking to you or Alex before when the news first came out of it going to Adidas. I know for a fact I was talking to Alex, but I was like, this should be good. This should work. But every venture that she's had, it hasn't worked. And I guess it started off super strong, obviously.
Yeah.
But something about Beyonce just not being able to sell shit outside of music. And I don't think she'd be trying too hard. Like, I don't feel like she's like a try hard and she just fails at it. It's just something about it. It just doesn't translate.
It don't click outside the Beehive. I don't understand.
I don't understand there, to be honest.
So the Beehive is either the Beehive is not as large as I thought, or there's no or. That's it. Either the Beehive isn't as large as I thought, or they're just not, they're just not consuming at the level that I would assume stands consume on. I think the problem is there's no, and that kind of, we'll talk about that too. But there's no real hype around it. There's no hype outside of the diehard Beyonce fans, and like you said, for the diehard Beyonce fans, even within the Beehive, there's not necessarily a hype around it that you feel when Travis Scott drops something, or even like, I don't know, Cynthia Lou and the Cactus Plant Flea Market collabs on something. Like, there's just certain brands that generate hype for some reason, and some that just kind of don't. And I feel like for you to have a collection as expansive as her run with Adidas is, you kind of have to have that hype behind you to help you move some of that stuff, because there were some big collections. Like, it wasn't like it was just like a couple tees and a couple sweatpants, and like, no, it was like full. Like, these are close. And like, so I think that's like kind of the tough part about it, and even the kicks were sitting. So it was like, even the thing that Adidas does is like, her updated version of a colorway on a sneaker that they're going to switch at the moment. It's just not working. So they got a million forums but this is the Beyonce form, and it's just like it's not. It's for some reason these burgundy and tan shoes just won't sell.
I hmm, uh, so when they first started, I remember being like, this should be good for her because before it was at Topshop and it wasn't really hitting on much. You would see it when you walked in Nordstrom, but I was like, oh, I didn't know they had this shit here. Um, so I figure, okay, Adidas does athleisure better than anybody.
Right.
Well, not better than anybody, but that's kind of their thing. That's their state. I think it's better than Nike's, but it is what it is. That's their lane. And it started off like, we're gonna fit everybody, we're gonna have it on shelves. Other people are gonna get them. They were sending out these boxes to the influencers. They were sending them out to celebrities and all this other stuff. And it did have that major hype. I don't know if we ever really saw Beyonce wear them outside of a lookbook. I don't, not that I remember, but I also don't really see her like out. Unless it's like
Good point.
like I always make this joke with Al. It's like, man, it be events that I know Beyonce's there. Like, it's not just like I know she's there, and you don't see a picture of her there unless she posts a picture of her there.
Yeah.
So it's like the box at the Super Bowl, the LA one where Jay-Z's up rapping, the Still Dre shit, and that part that he wrote, it's like I know she's there. I'd seen her there, but I only saw literally everyone else in that box. Kevin Hart was in that box, like who was there. It's like I never seen her there, so we don't see her wearing it. I guess it's hard. Like I feel like everybody else that we care, even we see Drake and Nocta, and I'm not buying that shit, but like at least I see him in it.
He cares about it.
Oh, he absolutely cares. Like he raps about it. He puts it on the side of a plane, whatever the case may be. But yeah, I don't think it's hard to tell because I'm not an expert, obviously. But like, what could be why she can't connect? I said a bunch of reasons why, but why can't she fully connect for it to be successful, like sustained success outside of music?
My head just now was like, because them niggas saving money for the tour. Like, but it's like, that can't be it. I don't know. I honestly have no idea. When I think of the Beyonce fan or the non-Beyonce fan, um, yeah, I'm just thinking that it's just kind of not her demographic. Like, who needs to buy these things are just isn't her demographic. Um, Probably the people that got money to spend on it, they're the same people that argue like, oh, well, we like Stephanie Mills better. That are like not old, not even old. Like I'm talking about the ghetto ones. Yeah, those ones that just don't connect. That just don't like Beyonce. Like they are. It's kind of like the WNBA thing, where it's like the people who you need to buy this shit aren't buying this shit. So then now we got to look around and be like, well, why isn't it successful? And the reason I think that it's not successful is just because it's just not that much. Like she doesn't have that many fans. That I'm not gonna say she don't have that many fans, period. But a lot of people don't like Beyonce. Beyonce is kind of like a fixture at this point. She's just there, and those that get it, and those that don't will always have a problem with it. And I guess out of those that get it, only a small select few of them will engage with her outside of music or outside of touring. So I think that's where that's that weird space that she's in, where she has a lot of fans or she has all of the visibility, but turn that into dollars, like you said, outside of music is tough, just because everybody that sees her doesn't like her, and then everybody that likes her is like, I just like the music.
How I've said before from episode 1 that I can track everything back to racism in some way, and I feel like a lot of times it be a lot of white women. Like, don't get me wrong, there's a fair share of black women too, but it be a lot of white women that be online that be like, I don't understand it, I don't get it. I don't get it. I don't know why you would spend your money there, and it's like, like I live with a Beehive member, and
God.
I will hate on a record before I even listen to it. Like, and I was a huge not a, I was a huge fan. I'm a huge fan of Beyonce, but like when you live with the Beehive, it make you be like want to be hypercritical on some hater shit. And so the last few albums was really good. Like they're really really good albums. And so still me hating. Like it took me so long to listen to the Visual album. It took me so long to listen to Lemonade. So I'm hating. Like everybody's on talk line talking about this. Jordan, I seen him posting about how great it was, and Jordan usually has a pretty firm thumb on, at least for me, on like what sounds good or what doesn't. I'm like,
Right.
damn, he's even posting about this. I'm like, whatever. I'm hating, and then I let it play one time, like maybe 2 weeks after it came out. I'm on the treadmill, and I'm like, all right, this is great. And then it went from, oh, this is cool to like, this is great to like, nah, this the best shit I ever heard this year. The best shit. Why is she going this hard, this far in her career? She could just coast. And so when I hear, it's like it's been polarizing, and I'm like,
Yeah, and I think that's just the weird part about it is Beyonce's one of those artists now where it's like either you get it or you don't. And it's just like, how does everybody just not get this? Like this is just good shit. Like, this is just good music. Um
there was a thread they were talking. It was a thread they were talking about the clothes and how the shit was not wearable. I was like,
and the
you
thing is,
know,
I think what they're thinking about is like the chaps. And it's like, oh yeah, you're not gonna don't buy the chaps then. Like, I don't know, there's other shit on there.
it's obviously a costume. Like that is that. But if you telling me that out of these massive collections, you can't find one thing that is wearable, tell me you don't know how to dress without telling me you don't know how to dress. You just literally grab something from the mannequin. There's Beyonce puts out a lookbook where she walks through the screen wearing something, walks off, walks back.
And it was like they were like literal campaigns. It was a name behind it. It was a you know, they had the video like you said. She had the lookbook thing that she used to do. So you know, it wasn't just like she was phoning it in. It was
No,
it should connect outside of people just
and I think the prices got a little bit too high. Got a little bit too high. There was like a $400 blue icy fur with a big Adidas logo on the back, and I was like,
There's and therein may lie the problem is that maybe Adidas wanted to be too involved.
they priced them out because at some point she made it seem like this was going to be something that was very inclusive. Which when I hear inclusive, not only do I think sizing, but I think pricing. And as soon as you start adding pieces, $400-$500 pieces, I'm already like, look, I'm not getting no $400. I'm not spending $400 or so with a Nike check.
Or anything, and that was the thing. So I do remember a lot of stuff had the stripes on it. So if you're the type of person that just like wants to go without logos, like I'm not a person that wants to go without logos, but if I got logos on, then I need all my logos to match.
Yeah, and that's why I like that black jacket. There's a picture on my Instagram of wearing a black jacket, and the 3 stripes are very inconspicuous. Like they're there, obviously, but it's like it almost, unless you're really hip to it, you may not necessarily think. Because Tom Brown has 4 stripes. Not thinking you're gonna confuse it with Tom Brown, but in general, stripes is just kind of a thing.
Yeah, stripes is just kind of stripes.
Yeah.
You know, if you can pull it off, you can pull it off. And I think that's the thing, like you said, if you guys are just looking at stuff and being like, well, it's not wearable out of these large collections that she's putting out, then it's kind of on you. And I think that if anybody doesn't like Beyonce or doesn't get Beyonce, it's just kind of on them. I think you know, certain people I just try not to engage with. Yeah, and those are like the type of people like you have. If I'm noticing that you have like a bad opinion on something, that's just like kind of like you don't like Beyonce. Like it's kind of like hard to not like, you know, she doesn't do anything. She doesn't like, she's only seen when she wants to be seen. All the music's good.
And I'll ask, like, I don't mind engaging. Like, what is it that you don't like? And typically they don't have shit, and I'm like, okay, so there's some twinge of racism there. So I don't know. Like, there's some, to me, I'm even further on the other side than you. If you don't like Beyonce, there's probably something wrong with you. Like,
big up. Balmain likes Beyonce.
Olivier likes Beyonce.
Yeah.
Always been a big fan of Olivier. does pretty cool stuff. Literally, the news were a day apart. Beyonce's not cool enough to sell Adidas shit, and then boom, she's cool enough to have Balmain Couture that you'll never see unless you got the coins, as Nene says.
Bro, you know like they're not selling that shit.
Yeah.
So one off. He said
Yeah.
it's his like that is crazy to me. And I guess it's probably not, I don't think it's unheard of, but that's wild for like somebody to have their own
Collection.
collection dedicated to them. Just because it's not like this is like, oh, was Ralph did J-Lo's wedding. You know, if you talk about Beyonce, you gotta do J-Lo. But Ralph did J-Lo's wedding, and
Dolce Gabbana did Kourtney Kardashian's wedding.
those are her dresses.
Yeah.
She can say that. These are my dresses. But it's also for your wedding. You just never woke up on a Monday and was like, hey, well, here you go. I love that album and I love you.
Yeah. This is all the shit I thought might look good on you. And here we go.
Amazing. You mentioned something about living with a Beehive member. How's your household taking Swarm? This isn't on our rundown, but I just thought about it.
She, it's funny because I don't think she's watched it yet, but I was talking about it and I didn't realize that that's what the illusion was,
right?
Until somebody just broke it down, and I was like, oh, okay, I totally understand that. Nah, it hasn't. The only thing that's kind of came across our conversations is how, once again, not on the rundown, but how unfair people kind of treat Chloe Bailey, and just they don't like that girl, the way she breathes and anything. And I was just,
she breathes like it's not breathing like that. Like
one of the funniest things
on her face.
One of the funniest things I would say about Chloe is like I guess there is a bit of corny, which I'm cool with. It is what it is. But like everybody had that moment where they had to like transition from being a child to like doing, and maybe some people got a softer landing, and some people don't.
She's coming in hot.
Yeah, exactly. It's in your face. And for me, like, I don't mind it. It is what it is. I will allow you, not allow, but like, I want to give you latitude to be whatever it is that you want to be, as long as you're being safe. Plus, like, even just that man brain that kicks in is like, you know what? Yeah, that did something for me. I do like to see her like this. So, but you know what? I caught her. Do you ever watch Grownish? She was on there.
No, I never caught it. I was about to start it because I'm a big Blackish fan, but I was like, I don't know if I can't do both at the same time. I gotta.
Yeah, now the one's out the way. I'll get it. So on there, you could tell when the shift happened. Like that's because you get to see her like every day. So you could clearly see like when you started with the way they start, the plan to start, and then when they move forward in the seasons, you'd be like, oh, I didn't think Chloe looked like that before. Wait, she never wore clothes like this before. I remember saying that Alex, I was like, is Chloe turning up the sexy? Like, is that what she's trying to do in here? And she's like, you know what? I did notice that she looks a little bit fuller. So yeah, why she's turning it up? And then everything hit online.
That makes sense.
Outlet was softer for me because I saw it on the show, and then that's what she was putting.
If you were watching the show, you kind of were able to be eased into it.
Maybe
if you were not watching the show. If you're not watching the show, then it's kind of just like it. I remember it was that one performance. I forgot what they. Dang, I forgot. I would say I remember and then say I forgot. It was this one performance, and she was like just kind of going in on the mic and like doing her little body rolls and shit. And everybody was like, okay, like I'm not Chloe. And then after that, it was just like nonstop. It was just like, nah, Chloe gonna bust it open. Like that's what she gonna do. And now that's kind of her persona, and that's cool. Like it's just like she's figuring it out. I think at this point, if you care enough to make any sort of like tweet or thing about it, like if you're at this point, guy, like it's corny at this point to be like, oh my God, Chloe, like it's like, bro, just she
It is
fine.
what it
We
is.
know that's what she gonna do. We know that's what she gonna do now. That's her, okay?
Yeah,
Either
they did.
get with it
They
or get
did this.
lost.
They did the same to Coyle Ray, and then she caught one, and then now everybody loves Coyle Ray. And I
Oh,
like
well, not everybody.
not everybody's.
No, I'm saying that now everybody like kind of sees it for Coily Ray. Now everybody's like, well, I mean, they get
You know, whenever that happens, I feel like I want to root for him more. So now I'm like Chloe Stan because I'm like I want to see when something connects, and then we flip, and hopefully it does because the Coyle Ray
boy, I hope this happens.
really they were being really mean to her, and then now she showed up on a couple shows. Like fashion shows, she wears some really nice stuff. She's still gonna twerk the little thing, so you can see that it's there. And now they love her, and I'm like, I'm glad for the turnaround. So yeah, people being weird for that, but that's as far as that's been.
Yeah, whenever y'all watch Swarm, let me know how she tastes it.
Yeah,
And let me know.
What is that? Amazon?
It's on Amazon Prime. It's on Amazon Prime, and all episodes are streaming. We'll talk about it on here because like I got some thoughts I want to get up because you know it's our favorite guy, Donald Glover. You know, so I got some things.
Atlanta. It's Atlanta.
I got some things that you know I gotta get off my chest, but I'm gonna wait.
That's okay. That sounds compelling. Now I guess we'll get right into more funniness. Not funny, but Shirley Ralph in her situation, with a famous TV judge, not Judge Mathis.
Her
Just to be clear.
Her situation that is not with Judge Mathis, as you just so eloquently said, and she also said it, made that point to let everybody know that my situation is not Judge Mathis. I think that her situation is very unfortunate, but the person who assumed that it was them, who assumed the guilty role by trying to plead their own innocence, I think that is just freaking hilarious. It's the funniest. Why would you ever do that? Why would you ever come out?
That's the funny part to me.
That's the funny part. This situation is horrible. I read what happened to Shy. I saw the headline, and I was like, "Damn, bro! Like every
single person,
every woman. It's gonna be every at this point. It's like, okay, if you meet a woman, assume somebody tried her, and that's unfortunate, and that's like some sad shit. And then I read it, and when I got to the point where it was like, she does not want you. She said it is not Judge Mathis. And I get to that part, and I'm just like, oh, well, are we good? I think I froze.
No, you good.
Oh, okay. Frozen? No, you good. I'm just froze. I'm
okay.
Boop, boop. Yeah, but when we get to the point in the article, and it's like she doesn't want you to. It's not Judge Mathis. When we get to that point, I'm like, oh damn, it's Joe Brown.
Yeah.
Nobody else but Joe Brown. Now she didn't say this. This is just where my mind went.
Yeah, I think everybody's mind went there because the first thing I thought was, okay, famous TV judge, who's the one that we know is on that nastiness, who's on the shenanigans, and it's like it's gotta be good old JB, man. It's gotta be up there.
And why do what did JB do to let us know that he was on that nastiness? What possibly could he have said or done that led us to believe that, you know what, we know a TV judge, a prominent TV judge from the 90s, who was on Beyond Demon Time with the women?
Yeah. Yeah, he what did he show up on somebody's podcast or something?
Yeah.
But he had some wild shit that he said, and I was like, damn, I ain't know, cuz was really on it like that.
That man, I think it was maybe Mark Lamont Hill's show, on the Black News Network.
Yeah.
Black News Tonight or something.
At the time.
Yeah, at the time, because now it's switched over to the Griot. He was on there, and they were talking about Bill Cosby getting released, and yeah, and I guess he brought him on because he was saying some wild shit online, but yeah, he got on there and was just like, oh well, yeah, we know what these girls was on back in the day. They was using the closets for blowjobs, and they was using the bathrooms for blow, and the bedrooms they was getting their backs. But it's just like, dude, and this is all in light of us talking about somebody drugging, like somebody getting out of jail based off of like what basically just a technical error in the way that they handled the case. He got out because of that.
It was a mistake.
He's not in any way innocent. He got out because when he admitted it, they said that he can't use this in a case, but he had already pled out. You know what I'm saying? He already had admitted it, and they brought it back up to get him again, and that was the thing. You can't do that. So he's not necessarily innocent. The lawyers fumbled that one. But who cares? But in that moment, you took that moment to, instead of being like, well, yeah, this is just, lawyers sometimes mess up, blah, 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 blah. You took that platform and just went in on women who were the victims of sexual assault. It's just like, bro, like, it's not a normal thing to do on national television. Like, that's
now we don't trust shit. Now we don't trust shit you saying. Like, we know that we already know what kind of timing you on.
And it's just like, okay, cool. You want to defend your homie? Cool. I think we all understand. Some people are just friends in the industry, and they're friends. Like these friends that are in the industry sometimes are actual friends. A lot of people caught some strays due to how they handled the Bill Cosby situation. Felicia Rashad even caught some strays. Like it's just like a lot of people, both men and women, caught strays based on how they handled it, and it's not even necessarily caught strays. A lot of people shot themselves in the foot based on
that's what it is.
So Judge Joe Brown is kind of in that same boat. The only reason we think of Judge Joe Brown as a scumbag now is because of that interview and because of what his now public persona has turned into. Is this guy, the man of his times. This nigga about 70 years old, 30, 40 years ago, or let's say 30 years ago when Cheryl Lee Ralph's claim, that was the accepted norm. You could just, go to somebody and apparently ram your tongue down their throat, and it was nothing that they could do if you was a top dog at the network.
Yeah, if you wanted to further your status in Hollywood, you would keep shit low.
Allegedly, like he came out and said that he was gonna sue anybody that said it was him. So allegedly,
don't sue me because I don't got shit.
Yeah, I don't got it, bruh. So leave us out of it. But once you come out and put yourself out there in that fashion, because it costs nothing to just shut up and be like, yeah, whatever. Everybody think I did it, but whatever.
Don't push sin. As Herm Edwards would say. Don't push sin.
Hey, that's one of them times when you gotta take a long think before you go on your pod, before you, like you said, press in. You gotta take a long think and just be like, okay, am I making this worse or better? Am I helping or harming? And especially you need to ask that question when it comes to yourself.
Yeah.
But
now, I will say you ran this at first when I was looking at this rundown, I didn't know how connected these things were, but it does feel like they're literally going right into each other. Because I guess now we can talk a little bit about John Majors. We both and the whole community had a collective sigh because there's some pretty damning shit out there.
I've not yet wiped the sweat from my brow because just I don't know how this is gonna. I don't think it's over.
No.
So I haven't yet let out the sigh of relief. I'm still holding my breath. But this is like in a moment of transparency. This is one of the moments where I was like, oh, I have a blind spot. This is where I was like, oh no, because like when I saw it, my first initial reaction was like, I thought when I first saw it, I was like, damn, my nigga did it. Like, it was just, dang, he done beat up. And then I felt bad, and I was kind of upset I was upset for myself that I'm not going to be able to watch Jonathan Mason's movies anymore, because I'm like, dang, he about to get pulled from everything. So that's one. It wasn't, dang, this nigga is putting his hands on women. It was, dang, this nigga is messing up my, like, MCU, bro. Like, what the fuck? So
that was my first thought as well.
It's like, damn it. Thought we had one. Thought we got our chat. Thought we got like another Chadwick. So this is not Chadwick. But then the second thought, which was, I don't know if it's worse, but it was just like, rowdy white girl, bro. Like, it just, and I felt bad. Felt bad because I'm like, it shouldn't matter that the lady is white, and that shouldn't then give me that. Well, you know, they always tell you, because I know he got that talk. I know he got the same talk that I got. That
Dr. Umar.
I know he got the talk. You know, so I know he know that this is this why you don't play over there. But that's if he's innocent. But in the same scenario, I was like, even if he is innocent, you know, she wasn't black. Like, you know, she wasn't. Even if he did it, it was like, well, you know, at least he cost black charges. And then I just felt bad. Like, now I'm just over here. I'm just like, man, I feel terrible because this is the wrong way to feel. But it's something that inside of me that will not allow me to be like, hang him. Like, I'm just like, hey, you know.
Just like when they said there was a death at Paisley Park, and it was like, yeah, let's just pray it's not, you know, it's somebody else, who's a groundskeeper or something.
Yeah,
you know?
Somebody, not the guy.
Not what we think it is. You didn't say he did. They said somebody. So RIP to their fam, but it better not be who I think it is. But the same, my first thought was, damn, why is this happening now? And then I'm never really on the side. Like, I roll my eyes when niggas start getting into their conspiracy theories. Like, yeah, man, they only let one be in it at the time. And every time they get a little too hot, they put in. I rolled my eyes. But then when I heard this, I was like, damn, did he get too hot too fast? Nah, you know, damn. They gonna get rid of him now. He just got the Marvel shit.
Bro.
No one, who pushed the button? Somebody pushed the button.
This is definitely the one where I was like, man, let me go ahead and get on. We'll talk to Kyrie real quick. What, Kyrie, lead us. What do we do now? Like, what say you, brother Kyrie?
Dr. Umar was my first one. I had to see what he thought of this. And it is unfortunate that the first thoughts are more selfish ones. But obviously at that point, if he's alleged to what they said he's alleged of, and doing it as long as he's been doing it. Listen, I don't even know how it gets to that point. Really? Like, if this is kind of his stick, and they were just talking about how masculinity is kindness and being with his bros and hugging up and stuff, and it's like, but this is really how you giving it up. It's like, dang, man, I almost thought you was perfect.
Like, that's what the wife was saying. That basically, like, you know, how he's been going on this run, and kind of how he's been, his counterpunch has just been like, nah, masculinity is not, like, it's like about, like you said, the softer side and being gentle and being just like a well-rounded person that can tap into being soft. Like, allowing yourself to be soft is masculine. And just having these very like well thought out and I guess profound moments of like, oh my God, like finally
of consciousness.
We might be swinging that pendulum back to niggas in the crochet pants like Common. We might be swinging it back. You know what I'm saying? We might be getting the sensitive Negro back, who may be a little bit of a womanizer, a little bit, but you know, we'll take it. We'll take it. Yeah. He's not beating nobody's ass, and then he's possibly beating people's ass while also saying all the right things. It's terrifying. So I hope it's not true.
Yeah,
I hope it's not true.
He pulled the biggest job if that was the case. Yeah, I'm not necessarily on the hang 'em train, and to be fair, I don't know if I'm actually seeing that the hang 'em train. But I mean, when it deals with women, even a lot of other women on social media are weirded about this, and then him being like a sex symbol, they really not like trying to throw him away right yet. No, it's like
Like it.
yeah,
You got the
yeah,
V cuts. If you got the Usher V cuts, we gotta hang on a little bit.
yeah. Yeah, yeah. And then there's a lot of I don't know how I feel so much about the like people keep saying that she recanted, and we ain't heard nothing from her or her representation. Representation. All we heard was from him and his
Which is why I
people.
haven't.
Yeah, which is because in that case, I'm like, because I seen him, like, what do you expect him to say? Like, nah, he did that shit. Like, nah, his representation is gonna be like, nah, we vehemently deny that shit. I don't even know what this shit baseless. Now we about to attack her credibility. Like, that's literally law 101. So like, nah, this is performance art. You got to win the press conference first. That's why whenever you hear sources say from the Kardashians and it's coming from people, that's Chris making that call. Like Chris doesn't talk. The sources is Chris Jenner. So if you can control the media, then you control the public perception. And right now, all you've heard was from one side, and one side is easily going to be like, "Nah, we love women. We'll never do this shit." But once we start hearing from them, and the part that's losing me, the part that's losing me is the hospital. Like, if nothing happened, why somebody go to the hospital? Like,
So the girl was something happened to the girl.
I don't know what happened. I don't know. I mean, if it's a mental episode, possibly you could go to the hospital for that. But even then, it's like they treated her for something. So what the fuck happened?
Exactly. So whether or not they were John Major's hands or hands at all, something happened. She's got like all the injuries that nobody said that the injuries weren't real. Like you said, she was treated for something. So something went down. Of course, like you said, his lawyer and his team is vehemently disagreeing, and they said they got sources. They said they got receipts. They said they got the account from the cab driver. They have the video. They have all this stuff. John called the cops. And maybe it's not.
TMZ work on that. I need to hear something. I need to see something.
It's time to start furnishing these things, right?
Yeah.
Like I understand. Like it's not. You don't have to. You can absolutely do the due process shit and wait till it goes. Take the shit to trial, whatever. But if you want this shit to be over publicly, go ahead and drop them. Just show us what you got, please, so we can go on back to supporting you like we was already doing. And you know what I'm saying? No harm to befall any one of them. I hope everybody gets the help that they kind of need in this scenario, whether or not the woman is going through like mental shit, or whether or not John is a fucking psycho or sociopath like everybody says. Hopefully everybody gets their help. Hopefully, I don't know how this works, because it's like, yeah, I want John to be innocent, but I don't want this person to, be thrown away now, and we do the thing where now we just don't believe women, and now all women be lying, and now and of course the people that do shit like that are people that didn't believe women in the first place, but just hate for them to have ammo. Like,
yeah,
I would like to remove all ammo from them niggas, so that they can't use these as viable arguments. But when you have a fear, when there has been something, like we have historical documentation that this shit happens sometimes, and that women sometimes, when it comes to black men and white women, sometimes that white women are lying, and then we have these prominent cases. Think what Michael Irvin we have these situations, and although they are slim, the ones that we know about are the giant ones. So it's kind of tough, because all they have in the first place is a very small sample size of times when women were lying. But then when they get this nugget, it's just like, oh, well, here we go. We told you.
Also,
and it's like, how many other have came out? We just got through with Tory Lanez and Bay. We just got through these scenarios, and we just got through with Johnny Depp and old girl.
Yeah.
We just got through with Brad Pitt. We just got through the laundry list of men abusing women, and now we're gonna hold on to this one because he said he got some evidence, and she recanted. And as much as I don't want this to be true. I don't want this to be true on both ends. Like something happened to the girl, she need help. John, if he didn't do it, he gonna need help. If he did do it, he gonna need help. It's just kind of a shit situation because it's just gonna add fodder to a side.
Yeah, I also the unrelated but related PSA, to recant, just grab your dictionary, guys. That doesn't necessarily mean that somebody's not guilty or innocent. Literally, if you understand how the power dynamics of these situations oftentimes are, people will recant or take things back simply because maybe this guy's the breadwinner or this guy's the leader of the household or whatever the case may be. So
Very simple.
because and then at the end of the day, you got a homeboy or something, and y'all been around each other too long, and y'all get tight, and y'all say some things that y'all didn't mean, and maybe y'all even friendly fade a little bit, and then like the next day, you act like nothing happened, or you water under the bridge. It's like, yeah, we said whatever we said, so that doesn't change that was the thing, but now we just are not acting like it's. So there could be resolution on their side, and it's like, look, we figured it out, our domestic dispute internally, and so we're gonna keep moving forward. Like Ray Rice had the situation he had. It was his then fiance. She became his wife. So clearly they got past it. However they got past it. So, and obviously you got to respect whatever decision that she makes. But this is a very common thing that does happen, unfortunately.
Now, on that front, Ray Rice never worked again. They solved it internally.
Yeah.
They got together.
Yeah.
They're cool. Ray Rice never worked again. Should he have been allowed to work again? We're not even going to talk about the establishment that he was working for. But if you get in a situation like this, and let's say you're an asshole and you get into a situation like this, should you still be allowed to work?
Yeah, absolutely. The way I looked at it was like, and I've been pretty consistent in this. I guess depending on what it is, but if you're just an asshole, yeah. But in a situation like that, he got suspended for 2 games. Now, I felt like 2 games was too little.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Should have probably been a little bit longer. The video comes out. They made a mistake, and now he's suspended indefinitely. That part I did not like. Like, if you were going to give him 2 games, it shouldn't have mattered whether a video got out or not. 2 games was 2 games. Now, I think it probably been closer to 6 to 8. You did your time. Let him back in. He did what he did. It's not like he didn't eat half a year's of salary. Like, he ate it. You know what I'm saying? It is what it is.
Right.
Roger Goodell said that he was doing no 0 tolerance, 6 games minimum. Gave him 2. So I'm like, all right, you already set precedent with your ruling at the time. So yeah, I don't necessarily believe it should be like a death sentence. That's another weird situation because he was approaching 30, or he was already at 30. His yards per carry was low. Granted, this probably expedited his way out of the league because he still was a really good running back. But yeah, he probably had a year or 2 left.
Right, there are cases that can be made. That it was just like, all right, go ahead, just go ahead and call it.
Yeah. So I don't know. It's interesting. You have mentioned Meg and Tory, and one of the points I wanted to mention about that is like we literally just went over this with that, and the situation happened where, like you said, you don't want to give any ammo. They don't give a fuck. They were using whatever they could scrounger up for ammo when it came to all right. He was literally found guilty on every charge that he got charged with. And niggas was still, they was like, well, I mean, it wasn't really for shooting her. It was shooting at the ground and all this nuance. And all this nuance. And I'm like, no, all you guys should be doing is backtracking. It's like, look, we got this wrong. Maybe there is something to this believing women thing. They wanted to make it seem like she was a liar because she didn't want to talk about her intimate situations with Tory and all this other shit. And people was making concessions, like, man, the music's still good. And I'm like, yeah, like personally, I was really enjoying the music at the time. And it's like, and he had quarantine radio and we all needed that.
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
then this shit happens and it's like, well, this actually is kind of consistent with his behavior that we heard from Tory already. And so I'm not really too surprised. Then it's like, well, look, if somebody shoots at the ground by me, I'm not telling people like, well, they shot at the ground, fragment got up and hit me in the foot. No one's saying putting all that thought into. They shot me.
Yeah, and I'm not giving you the pass of, oh, you didn't mean to shoot me, so it's cool. I'm not just taking an L, bro. I'm not just taking.
You put out a gun. You shot, and with the intention to hurt. Like whether or not it hit me,
Nah,
it's off the point. Like it happened. So yeah,
let's take it to a setting where we all know. It's basketball. The Matt Barnes shit. When he fake Kobe. If a nigga does that to you and actually hits you with the ball, what are you doing?
it's gonna be a fight. Like
It's probably gonna be a fight. We're not gonna give you the pass of, well, you didn't mean it. Sorry, sir. This is when we go to the impact over the intent.
yeah,
This is where we go to that. And you meant to harm me, and you harmed me. Whether it was
yeah.
just, I was just trying to scare you. For what, nigga? Like, why? Why? I don't play like that.
Never did. And you got to go to jail for that. They
Bingo.
another thing that gives them that fodder. Them not knowing the entirety of the the situation. I think there was a lot of misconception, and I don't know it all because I didn't care that much. But what I do know about like you mentioned, Johnny Depp and it was an Amber Heard. Whether or not it ultimately ended up as a W for Johnny Depp because he got more money back. He had to pay some shit too. So like whatever happened, whether or not you want to put like a scale on it or not, he did something to her, she did something to him. So
Literally split the courts. Like like whatever trial they had overseas, she won. Then trial they had over here, he won. So it's like
it made it seem like it was just like her just capping. She was unhinged, and from what I heard from Alex is like, nah, he was wilding too. Like he was wilding too, and
I want everybody to have the balls to just admit that they don't give a shit. Like, and like, I think once you admit it, then we can just actually get to where we need to get to. You know what I'm saying? Like I didn't realize that I had a blind spot about the John Major situation until I like, oh, I don't give a shit. I'm still gonna go see whatever he drops. And it's just like, oh, well, let me explore that. You know what I'm saying? Let me figure out why that is, because somebody did get harmed at the end of the day. So I think that's just one of the things that you have to allow yourself, just be honest, because you're not allowing yourself the room to grow if you keep trying to find reasons. Like if you keep trying to find reasons beforehand, like you keep trying to like justify your point when there's no justification for it. You're being an asshole. Lean into it, but then recognize that you're being an asshole. I feel like you're not gonna, get the growth that you're looking for, until you lean into like that whole, well, you know what? Maybe I am wrong. Like say the fucked up shit, say the loud part, say the quiet part loud, and look at the responses around the room that you get. And once you realize, oh, maybe I'm wrong.
Yeah. That's having a blind spot.
And that's the thing. I think all these guys are just like they're taking these wild ass like detours to explain every fucking thing instead of just being like, well, I don't care either fucking way. Cool, thank you, because I know that, and it's hard for me to get you to like. If you don't admit it, then we can't work. We can't have a conversation. Just say first things first. I don't give a shit about it because I like the product that he makes. Now we can have a conversation because now I know what I'm dealing with. I know how to come at this. Now you can hear how that sounds. Say it out loud so you can hear how that shit sounds, and then you can start repeating it back to yourself and be like, well, damn, Well, I know if it would have happened to my family member, I would have a problem. I know if it was, like, I know if it was me, I would have a problem. I know if it happened to, my sister, my cousin, my mom, I know if it happened to any of these people, I would be hot. Why don't I give a shit? And you might not understand why off rip, but at least you're doing the work to get there.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that's the thing. I think the show Blind Spots. That's what it's about. You can't ever get to that. Let's say you need corrective surgery on your lens, on your eyes. You need to fix that. You're not seeing things clearly. But if you never admit it, if all you're doing is squinting and just fucking up the words, at a certain point, people may even say, "Hey, you probably need glasses. You probably need them. If you keep bumping into shit, you probably need fucking glasses." But until you say, "I can't see shit,"
Yeah, you need to go get taken care of.
exactly. You have to first admit it. You have to first acknowledge the thing, even if it's not necessarily, "I have a problem. I can't see shit. It's a problem." Just say, "I can't see shit." Just say it. So then we can say, "Well, yeah, so you should do this." But guys just aren't allowing themselves that. And that's the unfortunate part. Judge Joe Brown won't allow himself to do the shit Beyonce fans won't allow themselves to buy the Ivy Park.
And lastly, before we close, real quick, it's Supreme Day.
It's Supreme Day. Yes. Even the article summed it up nicely. Yes, Supreme's dead. For all intents and purposes, Supreme is dead. It's not what it used to be, but it has blossomed into something different. It's not necessarily. It's just Supreme in its old form. It's not meant to serve the skateboard hip hop crew anymore. It's meant to serve anybody that got the money to pay to buy it.
I think when, and this is kind of wrong now, but Amy is trying to be Ralph, but it was for a second it was turning into to Supreme, or I'm sorry, it was turning into Kith, and Kith was turning into Supreme. Now Kith is just too great now, but they do their novelty shit. And then obviously Amy's like a Kith underling / Ralph Lauren thing. But Supreme, we all kind of known it for. I mean, I don't know if it's dead, it's probably been dead. Like I don't know if it died in 2023. Like maybe people really like the Louis Vuitton Supreme shit. It just kind of looked like fugazi shit to me, and it's not bad, but it's just like it just kind of looked like.
Well, I never got the allure of the Supreme beyond the box shirts that said Supreme. Like outside of the everyday items on the dance, once they started getting to like these giant brands and everything like that, it was just kind of like, well, this looks fake, because it's exactly what you would see at the flea market. You would see the dumbass Damier print with the Supreme shit over top of it. And it's just like I don't want to engage in this.
Like culture, it's weird. I don't mind Supreme. I have a Supreme headband.
Right.
I like that they're like they don't like price you out. Like they're so big and they're still selling $40 t-shirts.
Mm-hmm.
Just like which is really cool. Like obviously if you can get to it, then you can get to it. It does seem like it's easier to get to it now, and they're making things a little bit more accessible. You can I literally feel like every week there's a Supreme Air Force One restock. Every single week I see one, and I would think that they would be like hit you over the head. They're only $118, so I'm like, okay, so you're paying $8 for the box logo, which is fair. You would probably see a sticker there for $8 because their Air Force Ones are $110 now. So I'm like, okay, maybe I'd get a Supreme Air Force One just because I like white Air Force Ones a lot, but yeah, it never really occupied a lot of space in my brain, so I could care less. But I did see that Hypebeast was getting a little bit of drawback in the comment section, or I'm sorry, High Sobriety, maybe that was what it was. People were like, High Sobriety puts out all these stupid ass carousels, and they don't know what the fuck they're talking about. Like they nail it a lot of the time.
The people that are commenting on that are just mad because they're still buying Supreme. Like it's because you're a Supreme's audience now. But who we're talking about, the audience that this article is for, completely understands that this shit is dead and been dead. It's just kind of, and we were talking about this in the group chat. Streetwear is now getting to that point where, in the same way that hip hop is kind of, I guess, over. We're kind of over it now with hip hop, but it's the same thing that we asked 30 years into hip hop. Is this shit dead?
Yeah.
And no, it's not. It's just a broader audience, and it's meant to serve more people. So that being said, if you need to serve more people, you have to water down the thing that made it great to begin with. You do, because you have to stretch it. How you stretch anything, if you need to, you dilute it. You know, if you need to stretch something, you dilute it. You add some water to it, get it stretched out, and now everybody
Put some acetone in the dope, man.
Yeah,
Step on it.
So
and the brick's still going up.
It just is what it is, and it's just the natural cycle of things. So now we get to see where Supreme can go from here, because now it's just becoming that thing that's a fixture in our society and in our culture. It's interesting to see though, high fashion brands, when they switch leadership, when they get a new CD or somebody, we get excited because of the new energy that's going to be brought into that. We're not at that case on the streetwear level yet. When the head leaves, we're like, fuck it. And the people that stay, you know, either you really fuck with it, or you kind of just hypebeast.
But I will say this, and this is great. I really want to kind of revisit this next week about streetwear dying, because that's something that I think is in depth. But I will say this: I don't know how many of the streetwear brands can actually survive after, and maybe this is just my own ignorance, but I don't really see them switch leadership unless they've gotten massive. Like, obviously Tremaine Emory is at Supreme, so there's that. But like, I feel like if the leadership dies of the brand, of the streetwear brand, because all these brands are less than 20 years old, it just dies. So I personally have seen a lot of dope shit from Supreme, and it not revolving around like a red cup with a Supreme logo, but then they just have shit that's like toothpaste and hair wall clippers,
my nigga,
and surfboard, and like, okay, I it's like there is dope shit on this side, and maybe people who don't give a fuck about Supreme won't know it, but all you see is a Supreme Vespa. And you're like, why the fuck would I want a Vespa with a Supreme logo or a Supreme leg sleeve that J.R. Smith was wearing that one time, I think? And it's like, why the fuck? So yeah, ironically enough, I'm going to Los Angeles this week, and I'm going to Supreme store. So as much as I'm talking about that, I have not been to the Supreme store.
You can see it firsthand.
When in Rome, I will leave with something to say that Robert was in Los Angeles. So I think that's pretty much it. Obviously, I have word back about that, as well as talking about Shooter being dead, because that is something I think about almost every day. So episode 3 in the books. I didn't say this at the front, so if you did get this far, you still need to like, you still need to put the stars, you still need to subscribe, you still need to share it. You still need to share it. So then I can buy more sneakers.
Backed up. Yes.
This has been Blind Spots with Bobby Bronz and Patrick Hughes. Thank you for listening.